what in the world was going on under these other administrations when Donald Trump wasn't in office. What were they doing? Because it seems as if you're a president who cares about the people, you can enact certain policies and enforce the law the way it's supposed to be. And we're removing so many people and not letting them come in. So in your opinion, what were they doing in these other presidential authorities, whoever was in office before Trump, what were they doing letting all these people in?
My personal opinion is that the last administration and officials within that administration were borderline treasonous. I'll say it again. A record number of aliens died under the Biden administration. A record number of Americans died. A record number of known suspected terrorists. A historic record of sex trafficking of women and children. That's not humane.
Mr. Homan, thank you so much for joining me. It's been a while since we spoke. The last time we spoke, there was a lot that had gone on then with enforcement of our borders. Obviously, ICE has done their job, I think respectfully. But since then, there's a lot that's happened. Can you give us an update on the status of what we're doing at the border, how we're doing internally or, in the interior of the country and how enforcement is going? Because the public is not going to get the truth unless they hear it from you or hear from somebody who's genuinely giving a perspective. So can you give us an update?
All right, so, two things. First of all, the border. We got the most secure border in the history of the nation. That's not my opinion. It's based on facts, real data. Anybody can go to cbp.gov and look at the numbers. So we went from 10, 12,000, sometimes 15,000 a day coming to the southern border to many days less than 100 across the entire 2,000 miles of border. In the last 3 months, 0 illegal aliens were released into the United States. Anybody that approaches the border stopped, arrested, and immediately returned or detained, and 0 releases. So the most secure border ever, based on real numbers. Border crossing down 96%. And like I said this morning, when 96% less people are coming, we're saving thousands of lives. Because under Joe Biden, 4,000 illegal aliens died, making that journey a historic number. 250,000 Americans died from fentanyl because of open border, an historic number. A record number of known suspected terrorists across the southern border, at least 400, historic record. Number of women and children sex trafficked across the border, historic record. So when President Trump has 96% less people coming, less people are dying, less women are being sexually assaulted crossing the border, less Americans dying from fentanyl, less women and children being sex trafficked. So not only got the most secure border, but he's saving lives by the thousands, right? Now the interior enforcement, again, historical operation happening across the country. I looked at the numbers this morning. ICE has got just under 200,000 arrests in the interior. And every day I look at the data. On the way in, there's like 22 pages of data. I go to the arrest data for ICE. Shows about 70% of everybody ICE arresting is a criminal. The other 30%, many of them are gang members who may not have a criminal history, so we can't count them as a criminal, or people with have a national security nexus, right? They're a national security threat. And most of them don't have criminal records because their whole job is to stay hidden until they do their dirty deed, right? And so we arrested thousands of known suspected terrorists. And the other group that we're arresting are fugitives, those who had due process at great taxpayer expense after they entered the country legally, were ordered removed by a federal judge and become a fugitive. We're arresting them too. So the data is terrific. And like I said, right now, I looked at numbers this morning, we're about right around 350,000 total removals between us and the Border Patrol. And considering 4 months of that were under Joe Biden, where he wasn't doing anything, the numbers are remarkable, and they're doing a great job. Am I happy with the arrest numbers? Yes. Am I satisfied? No. And that's why, with a big, beautiful bill, we're going to put more boots on the ground, more agents on the ground, because right now we got over 600,000 illegal aliens with a criminal history walking the streets. We need to find them and remove them. We got 1.4 million illegal aliens with a final order removal from a federal judge who haven't left. So we got more work to do. And with a big, beautiful bill, we're hiring agents at record numbers now. We'll get more boots on the ground to, again, remove these public safety threats and national security threats quicker and more efficiently.
Man, y'all know me. I keep it real, and I say it straight. I tell it like it is. A lot of Christian entertainment in the past soft, corny, and honestly, I ain't gonna lie to y'all, hard to watch. But Angel Studios, they're doing something different. They're launching 2 new series that are bold, high quality, and worth your time. The first is A Week Away. It's a musical series about a teenager who gets dragged to Christian summer camp. At first, he's rebellious, closed off, and want nothing to do with it. But through music, friendship, faith, you can see his heart change. It's fun, it's moving, and it shows the power of redemption. The music will make you cry, make you dance, and help you feel God's love. Then there's Testament, the series. Y'all, this one go hard, I ain't gonna lie. It reimagines the book of Acts in a modern world full of surveillance and hostility to truth. You watch Peter, James, John, and early believers risk everything to follow Christ. And it makes you stop and ask yourself, if the pressure was on me, would I have that kind of courage? Testament will bring the Bible to life in ways that you have never experienced before. These shows weren't created by Hollywood executives with an agenda. They were chosen by the Angel Guild, regular people, families like yours and mine, who are tired of trash content and want better stories. When you join as a premium member, you'll get ad-free access to Angel's entire library, 2 free tickets to every Angel theatrical release, and a voice in what gets made next. So if you want to support bold storytelling that honors God and actually has a backbone, go to angel.com/Tatum and join the Angel Guild today. See what real Christians entertainment looks like.
2 questions that I have here is, most people in America are wondering what in the world, for lack of better terms, I want to say a cuss word, but I'm trying to be a good Christian, okay? What in the world was going on under these other administrations when Donald Trump wasn't in office? What were they doing? Because it seems as if you're a president who cares about the people, you can enact certain policies and enforce the law the way it's supposed to be. And we're removing so many people and not letting them come in. So in your opinion, what were they doing in these other presidential, authorities, whoever was in office before Trump? What were they doing letting all these people in?
My personal opinion is that the last administration and officials within that administration were borderline treasonous, what they did to this nation. I hear so many times how the Trump administration is inhumane and how much more humane they were with their border actions. Look, I'll say it again. A record number of aliens died under the Biden administration. A record number of Americans died. A record number of no suspected terrorists. A historic record of sex trafficking of women and children. That's not humane. What President Trump is doing is saving 1,000 lives there. It's not humane to send a message to the whole world. Look, you can enter the country legally, it's a crime. Don't worry about it. We're going to release you after you get to the border within 24 hours. We're going to put you in a hotel room free of charge. We're going to give you 3 meals a day. We're going to give you free medical care. And after about 90 days, we'll give you work authorization. That's not humane, because what you send a message to the whole world, you can cross this border legally. You don't have to worry about it. There's no consequences. So the most vulnerable people in the world are going to come to the greatest nation on earth and take advantage of that free giveaway, right? Like I say, record number of people are dying, both aliens and Americans. It wasn't humane at all. President Trump saving thousands of lives. Now, why would they do such a thing? Well, my opinion is for 2 reasons. I think some in that party are just open border, advocates who think, there should be no borders. But I think the bigger issue is they saw a future political benefit from allowing millions of illegal aliens in this country. How so? Number one, I think they think they're going to be future Democratic voters. But more importantly, when Joe Biden signed over 90 executive orders destroying everything we did on Trump 45 that gave us the most secure border in our lifetime, he also overturned the Trump census rule. So they're hoping to stay in office. So the next census comes around, you got millions of illegal aliens who are settled in sanctuary cities, which when they do, they reproportion seats in House. Democrats get more seats in House. They control the government forever. So their plan was they sold this country's national security out for future political power. There is no other reason. Because I've been up on the Hill many times. I asked every Democrat I've ever had a conversation with, give me a downside on a secure border. What's the downside? Less drugs, less illegal immigration, less trafficking of sex trafficking, less drugs. I said, give me a downside. And they can't. So my belief is they sold this country off for future political power, which again, I think is treasonous.
Oh, I agree with you 1,000%. It's infuriating Now, the future of this administration, Donald Trump, I mean, this was the first year, and look at what we've been able to accomplish as a country. In the next 3 years to come, right, by the end of his administration, what is your expectation or prediction of our immigration policies and also the enforcement, meaning how many illegal aliens do you think will still be here after Trump leaves office? And will we be able to fix the immigration policy? Because there's a lot of people in America that want immigration to just completely end, right? Meaning that we don't want any more people to come to this country. We're full. We have enough. There's a risk of people coming here not assimilating. So are we going to address some of these policy positions, meaning that the people that are on a waiting list could probably get in at some point? Is there something that we're going to do, or at least Trump could do, about people that are illegally here that are never going to get deported? There's just too many of them. And then I guess the third part of that is that will we have some type of a slowdown or freeze in allowing so many people in our country with the risk of them not assimilating and trying to take over our country to a certain degree, right? Pushing Sharia law and other things that we see certain immigrants doing that's not really, a part of what America is about.
Well, I support legal immigration to a limit, right? And that's what infuriates me, what happened the last 4 years. There are millions of people standing in line, taking their tests, doing their background investigations, that want to be paying their fees, that want to be a part of the greatest nation on earth and actually will help this nation thrive, right? President Trump, during Trump 45, he had an immigration plan based on merit, how the immigration would help improve this country. But he still had room for families, no mothers, fathers, sons, and daughters. It's a great plan. So I support legal immigration. So if we can, vastly reduce illegal immigration, that makes room, right? What I want to see in the 4 years that I'm going to be here, my dream would be that every criminal, national security threat, illegal alien's been arrested and removed. That's 600,000 I was talking about. Then we go on from there. We go on to the fuses. Then we go on to, look, I'll say it again. I've said it from day one. If you're in the country illegally, you're not off the table. So for those who are here illegally, they should go on their own. They go to CBP One app, and we'll help them go home. We'll get them a plane ticket, give them $1,000 once they get to their home country. And that's working. I mean, there's been several studies done saying over, 1.6 million people have left the country since President Trump's been in office. That's the way to do it. Work with ICE and you can put your affairs in order and go home. And make yourself available to come back under legal program. Leave yourself an opportunity to come back with a visitor's visa, a tourist visa, a work visa, or if you have a U.S. citizen child here that can petition for you to come in the country as an alien of a U.S. citizen, alien relative of a U.S. citizen, there are legal options for you to take if you leave on your own. However, if we have to go through the whole process of ordering you deported, finding you, and formally deporting you, there are statutory bars in place from 5 years to 20 years to never, ever coming back to the country, depending on what the situation is. So I think in 4 years, this country is going to be, the crime rate is going to be lower because we're going to remove a lot of public safety threats, a lot of national security threats. I actually think we'll be in the White House for the next 12 years. I truly believe that. I really think American people, whether you like President Trump or not, you can't deny the success. You can't deny of crime rates falling. You can't deny that he's stopping wars across the country. You can't deny he's a peacemaker president. You cannot deny the fact our military is the strongest military in the world. He's going to do more to make it even stronger. The economy, I don't know about you, but my 401k is looking pretty good right now. So I think President is going to prove himself to American people that despite your dislike for him, the result of what he's doing is going to resonate with American people.
Mr. Homan, do you think it's a messaging thing that has people in a frenzy protesting what Donald Trump is doing? Or is it a evil thing, which means that these people are just evil. They just hate anything that Trump does. The media is going to attack Trump because he's on the opposite side. It doesn't matter what he does. Like if Trump decided that he didn't want to deport people, they'll be mad at him for not deporting enough people. And so which side is it on? Is it, do you believe that the White House or Trump or, you know, even yourself have to change or mold the messaging to get the point across more effectively? Or is it inevitable that they're just going to hate Trump no matter what?
Well, first of all, I'm not running a popularity contest. I don't care who likes me or dislikes me. I'm going to do the job because I know in my heart, I've done this since 1984. I've worked for 6 presidents. I've seen hundreds of policies come and go. I know what works and what doesn't work. I know right now, based on the data I told you earlier, the vast majority of people we arrest are public safety threats. We're making this country safe again. It's not okay to be in this country illegally. It's not. Especially not okay to be in this country illegally if you're going to commit a crime against a citizen. So I particularly don't care what people think about me, but I read hit pieces on me every day. The media, much of the media is dishonest, right? So I read media pieces every morning. Oh, we're deporting U.S. citizens. Never deported a U.S. citizen. It's illegal. We're raiding churches and schools. Not happening. So the media is just dishonest. I really think, and some of the members of Congress are lying about what ICE is doing, what President Trump is doing. The only thing I can come up with is they hate President Trump more than they love their country. Because you love your country, you want a safe America. If you love the country, you want law and order. I really think it's Trump derangement syndrome. And, you know, if you look at the facts, you can't deny the success again. And look, I'll say this about members of Congress and members of the public that are attacking ICE and the Border Patrol. If you don't like what we're doing, then protest Congress because we're enforcing the laws they enacted. And we got members of Congress calling us racists and Nazis. If I'm a racist for enforcing the immigration law, what's that make you? You wrote the law, right? So a lot of the media is dishonest. They outrightly lie. Some of our own politicians on Capitol Hill lie about what ICE is doing. And it's just growing up in the greatest country on planet Earth. I love the United States. I love my country. It really shocks me that we have people in elected office that will lie to their constituents out of hatred for one man. It's just incredible. And I just can't believe where we are as a nation right now. But I really think the message is starting to resonate. The more we get, we have to control the messaging, and that's hard. Like I'm one guy. President Trump, you know, he's out there a lot talking. I'm out there a lot talking. You know, Steve Miller, brilliant man, he's out there talking. But when you got 90% of the media drowning your message out, they're doing it on purpose. I said from day one, I called from day one. The minute we took the White House back, I said, now President Trump, I'm the first guy he called to come back. I knew it started reinforcing immigration laws, as soon as we start enforcing border security, the left's going to come at us hard. They're going to try to vilify everything we're doing and try to mismessage the American people that we're bad people. So the whole plan is midterms, right? Let's get enough people to disagree with what Trump administration doing to take the House back or whatever back in midterms. I don't think it's going to happen. I think the truth is coming out slowly. But I'm speaking to people like you every day, several times a day. And I just hope that this administration can continue, try to control the message and keep fighting back on the false stories.
Yeah, and I think give you a little optimism here. I think that most alternative media is getting a lot more traction in the mainstream media. I think people feel disenfranchised by the lies that they're telling.
I agree with you.
In plain sight.
I'm an old guy. I've been around a long time. I think majority of Americans, and maybe I'm wrong, I think you agree with me, I think the majority of Americans are getting their information from podcasts and social media rather than watching the nightly news. So I agree with you, and that's why I appreciate people like you who's going to go out and either do radio or social media or podcasts, getting that information out. I'm not asking you ever to pick a side. I'm asking you to just tell the truth, which I believe you do. And that's what we need. We need more people out there. You can disagree with me. Like if you sat there right now and said, Tom, I disagree with you and presidents. I think you're pushing too hard. I don't agree with everything you do. That's fine. but report the truth on what we are doing, and
Right.
that's backed up by data. And I think that's a righteous thing to do. So I appreciate you and everything you're doing.
Yeah, thank you for that. And that's what I want to encourage, and that's why I'm glad you sat down with me, because we need more people to feel emboldened and need more voices on channels that are going to tell the truth without bias. I mean, it is infuriating to me when I see the press and they just ask these stupid questions, and they know the answer to the questions, but they want to put an image out there of something nefarious happening when we're just protecting the country. That's it. That's it. You have to be disingenuous to the umpteenth power if you're disagreeing with immigration enforcement or illegal immigration enforcement. It's insane to me.
I actually enjoy the hate media that wants to interview me. I look forward to that. When someone says you're going to do this, it's going to be tough. It's not going to be tough. Because the truth, you can't. I've been doing this since 1984. You're not going to stump me on anything because I've done this for a long time. And I'll present the real data. So you can have an opinion, and they do, but you can't refuse the real data. So I look forward to the interviews that starts with conflict and ends with conflict. I'm okay with that. Because, again, I'm not running a popularity contest. I'm trying to tell people what the facts are and why those facts are important and why what we're doing is good for this country.
And then the last thing I want to ask you is if you had everybody in the world watching, mostly in America, because this is mostly an American issue, if you had everybody watching, they're sitting down, they're watching, and they're listening, and they want to hear you, and they're willing to hear you out, what would be the message that you would present? Like, what would you say to the people that are watching, even the people that agree, the people that disagree on the left, that are just glued to the television right now, and they're saying, okay, I'm going to listen to them, at least give them a shot. What would you say to people if you had that opportunity?
One thing that me and President Trump agree on, 100%, no daylight between us. We both want the America that I grew up in. I grew up in a small town where I think every house had an American flag on the front porch, where every Veterans Day, Memorial Day, everybody came out to honor the veterans. Everybody respected the police. Very patriotic country. I grew up in a small village about 4 miles outside of Fort Drum Army Base. President Trump wants that America back, where on the weekends I go out with my friends all day long and play baseball at the local diamond. Come home for lunch, go back out with diamond. People felt safe letting their kids spend the day out with their friends, having baseball games or soccer, whatever. That's the America we both want back. That's why President Trump's committed to make his country safe again. My fear is that kids today are not going to live the life I lived as a kid. My childhood haunts me because it was just so good, so Americana. I mean, so it's like Mayberry RFD, the whole story. That was where I grew up. In a situation like that, I want every American family to have the same life I had. Every child had the same childhood I had, which was safe, patriotic. You saw a police officer, you respect him, that man is here to help. And we've lost that last few years. President Trump wants it back, I want it back. And I think he's going to get us there. He's going to get us closer there than anybody else is able to do it. And I think that's a great America. I think everybody should want to have that sort of life from that childhood.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. Thank you so much for taking time out to talk to me. I look forward to talking to you again as things progress. But God bless you. Keep up the good fight.
Let's do it.
All right.
Appreciate what you're doing, man.